Well, good morning, everyone. You know what they say, be it ever so humble, there's nothing like DTS on your home computer. It's good to be back in my home office, I can tell you that. It was nice sleeping in my own bed last night. All right, so here we are. Yesterday did remain more or less in a trading range as we suspected it might. The market fairly reluctant to move higher or lower yesterday. This morning, we're actually starting a little bit lower. You can see the European and Asian sessions a little bit bearish, not overly bearish. Prices letting off yesterday at around the 69, 35, 37 mark. And here we are opening around 69.12. So a little bit of a gap up here, about a 25 point gap. Small gaps like that do tend to fill. But we'll just kind of stay with the market here for a little bit, give them a chance to settle in. And then I'll look for a possible trade. We are getting some early signals, by the way. Some of our tools a little bit conflicted here. We're getting a first micro macro cross lower here on the Hawk. That coincides with this green bar sell on the Eagle. However, the Falcon and the Raptor a little bit more conflicted. The Falcon trading band kind of flip-flopping here, and the Raptor trading band very neutral right now. So right now it's looking as though they may try to get into that gap that I was talking about. And a pretty good start so far. The Eagle here producing a rule of 3, although that one's easier to see in hindsight. Not too much of a test, a retest of the low before the market started to change direction. We've got a warning dot for our first micro macro cross to the long side here in the Hawk. A little bit of a pullback off of that. That pullback, by the way, for you Raptor traders, that's going to give you your number one signal if the market continues higher from here. You can see pre-market, a lot of candy striping, a lot of barber pole type signals there. That just tells you that the market's sideways. So if you should always consider the overall market context. Here now, we're getting our buying attempt on a second push. Now the second push simply means that I look to see where the market reacts. We actually don't have the signal just yet. I'm actually getting a little bit quick on my signal there. All right, now we have the official #1 signal printing. All the trade parameters have been met. We're going to get a 4-arrow consolidation here in the Hawk. That's going to coincide. And we have the trend change signal here on the Falcon as well. And it looks like did they slip me? They did too, slip me a couple of ticks, the scoundrels. Let's see if I can get those back. So there's a reasonably good chance if we break the primary support zone here, the median line would make a nice profit target if you wanted to try to stretch this trade a little bit. I think the primary resistance line is going to be a little bit ambitious. I will add a little bit to this trade. It's early. Maybe I'll get a little bit of extra run out on this. Here's the 4-arrow consolidation in the Hawk. That certainly got up high enough to find the profit objective. Well, providing the slippage wasn't too bad on that one either. I'm not liking the fact that I got slipped 4 ticks. Hey, way to go, Mark. Mark doing a little pre-market action on the Falcon. Mark says took the pre-market late filter entry trade. That looks like it's this one right here. Now for you Falcon traders, the late filter entry simply means the filter goes out of sync and comes back into sync, but the whole time your trend line never changes color. That's very important. And when you see that happen, that's a very high probability signal. You can see you've got one here right on the open as well. All right, struggling a little bit. Typically, I don't like to trade quite this early. And I got spanked yesterday, and don't tell me they're going to do it to me again today. I may have to get a little quick with my stops here. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a reaction now to the hard edge of the trading band. And that will give me an excuse to bring my stops in. Yeah, the Hawk already into red bars. The macro line not turning over yet. We are back into the hard edge here on the Eagle. All right, I'm manually going to pull my stops in a little bit here below, say, 69.12. By the way, the best stop still here below the morning open. Or if you wanted, you could use the secondary support line as well here at 69.09 quarter. Actually, that might be a better choice. There we go. No, they're not going to let me away with it. Doggone it. They're going to come down here and tap me out. So, seems fairly obvious now that the buyers probably not in control here this morning. You can see we're back down at the low of the morning. That's why I said the best stop would be below the low of the morning. That's where all the buying began. And after that, down here, the overnight low, or the pre-market low, would be a stronger stop placement yet. All right, let's put that back on the shelf. Well, we're seeing some bigger ranges than yesterday anyways. That's not a good thing necessarily. All right, well, we'll see what they want to do from here. If they don't want to go up, there's a good chance they want to go down, but they didn't really get below the low of the morning either, so the market slowly pushing itself into a little bit of a corner. In fact, if you wanted to have a just-in-case trade going on, you could bracket this. You could short below the low of the morning, buy above the high, and this should actually be a fairly reliable trade if you just want to park your order and wait the market out. The Raptor trading band very narrow again, starting to twist up a little bit. And the Hawk and Eagle both starting to get a little bit more bearish looking, kind of, sort of. See, here's the issue. You're right at that trend line support. So this trend line broke. The buyers tried to rally it. come to the next trend line. Buyers are going to try to rally it. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Then when you get up here, the sellers are going to try to sell it. So we're really starting to get a little bit congested. Okay, I can bring my entry in a little bit. Look for a break above these highs right here. Don't want to crowd it too much. I have a little bit more confidence in the short side on a break of the low of the day. And you can, obviously you can duplicate this trade on your Hawk or your Falcon or your Eagle. We're looking at the same thing across the board. Technically, I suppose we are still inside yesterday's sideways trading range. And if that's the case, the market should get buying support, seeing how we are at the bottom end of the trading range. And it should try to rally back up toward the top end. Yesterday's highs, they were around 69.50, if I remember right. Okay, the Hawk and the Eagle now both bullish. The Falcon's still very neutral, as is the Raptor, but I'm working this little OCO order that we have going on. All right, so we're going to try it to the long side again, which would annoy the heck out of me because I was already long. This time I'm placing my stop below the low of the morning. There we go. Make sure I select the correct order. I don't know about the overall bias of the market. I can't really say that it's bullish or bearish right now. Obviously, I'm favoring a little bit more bullishness. Okay, now into the primary support zone. That's represented by that blue line. You can see it also near the high of opening range, or the current high of opening range. I guess we're still trading within opening range. And some nice follow-up signals as well. I suppose our first in-sync eagle signal, oh, actually it might have been this one right here. The green bar sell out of the open. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The first in-sync eagle signal not usually doesn't usually turn that quickly. Thanks, Phil. Phil giving me the update, says the NASDAQ is at a longer-term trend line. I hope that's a bullish long-term trend line, Phil. Although I have a feeling you're suggesting it's probably at a bearish one. Still kind of sticking here around the primary support zone. Somebody stuck their toe in the water here at the high, but so far very little follow through. Wow. Yeah, just this sideways grind again. Mark, nice job. Mark says I took even though it wasn't a signal, I took what should have been a trend change in the Falcon at 69.18. A little bit advanced, but sometimes you just see the signal whether it's there or not. Yes, that's true. Well, you did get the trend line change in color. You got the pullback. You got your bull bar. you're right. The Falcon should have printed a signal there. I guess somehow part of the signal parameters were just not there. And I guess I got to stop swinging for the fences here. The market is just not in that kind of mood. Looking for some buying to come back here now. You know, when the market's slow like this, you really have to do your best to be patient with your stops. It's not fun because, of course, there's the potential the market will come down and stop me out for a full stop out. As I mentioned before, that's why we try to limit our risk via the risk percent mode on the trade manager. What a quiet market though. All right, they're not giving me the follow through I was looking for. We've been drifting sideways all day since the open. A little move up, a little move down, a little move up, a little move down. What a stagnant market. I'm just going to check the reports calendar here real quick, see what the holdup is. There we go. Let's try this again. Well, there's nothing newsworthy. nothing newsworthy until the middle of next week. All right, out of this sideways mess, the Raptor technically producing a number one signal, and it's a valid signal to be sure. You need to take context into consideration. I would recommend stops below the low of the morning. I am grateful to see that number one signal. That kind of confirms what we saw going on before, and I think it's probably far enough along that I should consider doing something here with my exit stops. All right, break even it is. I'll hold there for the moment. I know Scott's going to tell me, get that extra tick, Eric. I'm going to give it every possible opportunity here to get up, maybe even to the median line, which is my ultimate profit objective. I do believe that right now, yes, we are. We're trading at our high probability target. So the money is there. The high probability target has been hit. Certainly, if you're trading multiples, good spot to take off at least a little bit of your position. Easiest way to scale out of a position like this, well, if you're long, just hit your sell market button once. Make sure your quantity is set at one contract so you don't inadvertently offset your entire position. Just a reminder, I need to cut today's session short. We'll be closing the room at the bottom of the hour. Likewise for tomorrow. Monday, I am out of town, but after that, things should be slowly getting back to normal. David's asking, how do you decide what the high probability target is? We actually put a lot into this when we were designing the system, and the way it worked out is we know the standard high probability target for scalpers is $50. So the Hawk micro scalper has a $50 target. If you're trading the NASDAQ, which trades at $5 a tick, that means you have a 10 tick target. The traditional swing target for most markets is $100. And so we did the same thing. For the Falcon and the Raptor, since they're primarily have a swing-based engine, we have a $100 target. So again, with the NASDAQ trading at $5 a tick, that works out to be a 20 tick target. Most trending tools will have targets between $200 and $500. With the Eagle Trend Trader, we decided to go with the $200 mark only because the market has a tendency off of the signals to get down to the high probability target and then react. So we noticed a lot of these reactions around the $200 mark, and that's why we settled on that. Now you'll see that other times the market will actually go much further before there's a reaction. In this case, that was a $500 move, because there's two contracts, right? So $500 move. And again, that falls within the parameters of what you should expect from a trending tool. Another easy way to use profit objectives is to use your support and resistance suite. It looks like the support zone is holding here at the secondary support. We've broken the primary support zone, which is that blue line. When the primary support breaks, there will be a tendency actually to move two zones. So this is zone number one. This is zone number two. I don't know if I have the courage to hold on for 69.50, but I'll take the 69.36 zone if I can get it. And once again, I should probably start locking in some of this open profit. Yeah, Mark, I agree. Mark says if you shoot a trend line from the low, I would say it's got an upward bias, but what a slow grind, he says. The other thing you can do is you can do what I call connect the dots. And, you know, rather than draw trend lines like this and trend lines like this, you just connect your lows and or your highs. So in this case, we're going to do the lows. And from each of these swing lows, you can see the market starting to definitely get more bullish. That's something worth paying attention to, by the way. I think that's one of my most popular blog posts. I guess it hasn't occurred to a lot of people to actually do that. That particular post has been picked up by quite a few online publications. All right, we're flinching a little bit. I'm going to put the boots to the market now, really stick it to them. Let's go with the parabolics. There you go. That's all you get, scoundrels. Get up there. The market really has the potential here to go much higher. Like I said, next target after the median line here at 69.36 3/4, all the way up there, 69.50 half. But the buyers have got to get busy. Well, they're trying. We're not out of the woods yet. You can see this very sensitive price area where we're trading right now. Market very, very content to be sitting around 69.32. All right, so they tagged me out there for the moment. Nelp has a question here. It says, my Raptor produced a number 3 signal at the number 1 position on your chart. Okay, that's the number 3 signal and the number 1 signal are essentially the same thing in practice. Here are the here are the parameters for your number 1 signal. Your clouds have to change direction. So here you can see the clouds were slightly, ever so slightly bearish. Then they got bullish. All right, so there's the cloud changing direction. And then, after the clouds change direction, you have this little bit of a pullback. When the market resumes in the new direction of the cloud, you will produce a number 1 signal. Here we have another example of the clouds, a little bit more bearish or certainly conflicted, not in sync. And now they're both stacked in a bullish fashion. There's a teeny tiny little bit of pullback there, and then you come out and the signal produces along with the new trend. Show you one more. So here the band's a little bit more bullish. Now they become bearish. Here's only a 1 bar pullback, and then here's the signal that produces when everything comes in sync again. So there's your number 1 signal. A number 3 signal is a hard edge bounce. So the market's going to encounter either the hard edge, this is the hard edge, of either the fast cloud or the slow cloud. Right? These are both hard edges. Whenever the market encounters the hard edge, we anticipate some sort of reaction. Now, the context is more important with a number 3 signal, I think, than a number 1 signal. A number 1 signal is always going to produce early or earlier because it's at the beginning of a trend. The number 3 signal, because it's a continuation signal, you do like to see something resembling a trend beforehand, ideally. So here we have something resembling a downtrend. We're into the hard edge. We produce a number 3 signal, and so we would anticipate the market to try to continue a little bit lower from there. And you can see it struggled a little bit. We produced a few more number 3 signals before prices finally went lower. So where we are right here, I'm going to assume that your band maybe, or your programming didn't, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you would print a number 3 there, other than the fact the market came into the hard edge and came out and produced a signal. Like I said, I wouldn't worry about it too much. because overall, for the most part, they're both with trend signals. Now, here's one thing you can try. Providing you're not in a trade, you can go down here and you can reload your Ninja script, or you can just hit your F5 button. And what that will do is it will refresh all the data on your chart. Now, mine is not necessarily the correct one. Everybody always assumes that mine is going to be the right one. Yours might be the right one. If you keep producing different signals, however, then we'll have to take a closer look at it. But like I said, overall, I would not be too terribly concerned about it. All right, the market definitely looking a little bit more bullish at this point. All right, Naup is asking, my chart seems to generate more signals than yours. I have two number ones just before your number one. All right, let's make sure that we have the same settings. So first off, I'm running an 8-tick chart for the NASDAQ. Now you right click on your chart and you go to your data series. And you want to make sure that you are using an 8-tick chart. If you're using a smaller bar than that, yes, you will probably end up producing more signals. Now, you want to go to your indicator window, just below the data series where we just were. Go to your indicator. Now, my Raptor version 2.0, these are all default settings, with one exception, and I'll show you that. So nothing has been changed. I've got a 12-tick and an 8-tick cloud. I have a 6-tick hawk. The only change I've made is a little bit further down here, where it says signal parameters SE. Yours probably says 1.01. I've changed that to 1.25. And all that does is the higher that value, the more number two signals it will introduce. So it makes it a little bit more liberal, a little less sensitive to the number two signal. So that's the only change I've made. Other than that, it's all the defaults. I suspect your brick size is smaller. Nop says I'm running Ninja 8. That shouldn't matter. Okay, well that's very odd. All right, hold on a second here. I'm going to refresh my chart. It may well be on my end. Nope. All right, if you try refreshing your chart and it's still the same, I'll get you to save an image and you can email it to me, or you can even email it directly if you like. And we'll go from there. I'm not sure where the other signals would be producing because I really don't see any other signals. these are not in sync, so they certainly wouldn't be number ones or number threes. All right, well, let's just go with that for now. And like I said, if we still have if you're still having differing data than mine, then don't worry, we'll figure it out. But that's very odd, I have to say, because I really don't see any other signals here. All right, there we go. We would have hit my target after all here at 69.36 3/4, the median line. Unfortunately, that little pullback not allowing me to hang on long enough. Stinkers. Probably get a little bit of a reaction here. Yeah, Mark says we're filled the gap. We'll see where it goes from here. That's right, we have filled the morning gap, haven't we? All right, we're plodding higher slowly. I think overall it just makes sense to stay on the long side today. Or at least for now. We're kind of back in the thick of it where we were trading yesterday around 69.40, 69.50. Things going to get a little bit stickier from here. And the slow motion trading continues. Well, I would think a hard edge bounce would be welcome at this point. The sellers are going to get a little bit more aggressive here soon as well. We are almost an hour into the session. So what that means is if there's been a defined trend, oftentimes we'll see the market try to reverse on that trend. Scott and everyone, yes, there is a trading room tomorrow. And again, I'm going to have to, it's only going to be an hour-long room. I've got some meetings in the city I need to get to, and I've got to cut the room a little bit short. All right, gang, if you're going to continue trading this morning, I think a pullback, a reverse of some sort would not be out of the question. A move back here to the hard edge, I think, would actually be fairly welcome. Overall, however, the trend is up, so I would favor buying opportunities. If you're on the aggressive side, you can certainly look to short and maybe look for a move back toward the hard edge. Otherwise, like I said, I would probably hold out for buying opportunities. And I'm not sure we're actually going to get much higher than we are today. It looks like 69.40-ish, kind of capping the market at the moment. Okay, on that note, we're going to close up shop here. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.